Hey guys, welcome to episode 9 of Emma's Happy List. I'm Emma, and today I am incredibly blessed to be joined by my cousin Shane. So Shane is an incredible human being, not only because of his outlook on life in general, but because he is a major competitor in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. In fact, he is a world silver medal holder, I believe, as well as a two-time European champ and an MMA title holder. So let's get straight into it. We did have some internet connectivity issues, so there's an unusual start to this one, but I'm sure you'll enjoy.
Oh,
It's
wait.
probably mine.
Right. Is this still working?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, did you say your
Yeah.
internet had STDs?
No.
Okay, right. Let's start again. So, cousin Shane.
Yo, yo.
Hey, you okay?
Yes, good. All good. You good?
I'm good. I'm good. And that's actually not a sort of turn of phrase, cousin Shane. You are actually my cousin Shane.
The cousin. Number one cousin.
You are actually the oldest, yeah. You're the
Yeah.
oldest of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cousins.
We're like a big
yeah.
family.
Down in New Zealand, they, like we say, oh, what's up, bro? And what's up, like, pal and buddy? They say cuz and cuzzy. Sup,
Do they do this? Kiora.
I never got that, but maybe.
Oh, what?
For everyone who's not watching, he just, like, went up to the camera and, like, did a little nose Eskimo kiss, right? A little
Kiora.
Eskimo.
Yeah, Kiora.
Kia ora. How are you?
Yes, not bad, thank you.
Thank
Doing
you so
okay.
much for coming on my podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. You are a fantastic guest, not only because you're my cousin, but because of the stuff that you do just generally in your day-to-day life. I don't know where to start. So, like, and I don't really know, I know this is probably going to offend a lot of people in your community, and I'm sorry, but like jiu-jitsu and cage fighting and grappling, kickboxing. Yeah. Don't ask me the
Yeah.
difference between like all of them because I'm a bit ignorant when it comes to all of them. Apologies. Why don't you
That's
explain?
okay.
You go ahead and explain.
Yeah, a lot of people think like if you do jujitsu, you're doing karate.
Yeah.
If you're doing kickboxing, you're doing karate. If you're
Mm,
doing anything, it's karate.
my
So,
bad.
so no, everybody's used to it. If you're training with martial art, you're used to it. So basically, if you look at say kickboxing,
Yeah.
and then you look at jujitsu,
Yeah.
the jiu-jitsu I do is Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so it's basically just ground grappling,
Mm-hmm.
which is what you were on about, jiu-jitsu, grappling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So it's more of a grapple art. And then
Mm-hmm.
you got the kickboxing, say karate, kickboxing, that's more of a striking art. So you're
Okay.
either getting punched and kicked, or you're getting hugged and squeezed around the neck.
Oh, right. Okay. They both sound absolutely delightful. Not to my taste, though. I would prefer, non-contact if possible. But so what do you do in terms of like competing? Because you compete everywhere, right? And what divisions do you compete in? And I should know this because I'm related to you, but I don't. And people always ask me, and I'm like, oh yeah, he fights lots.
Yeah, I don't think many people do know much about it because with myself, I do quite a few things. So there's like, I suppose, as you said, divisions, there's different levels of it. So
Mhm.
usually it's pretty easy to go like you got, pros, amateurs, this, that, the other. You got black belts, white belts. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, so basically I've got 3 black belts. I'm mainly competitive in jiu-jitsu.
Mhm.
But I've also got a black belt in kickboxing. Now, I used to compete in that when I was younger, a lot. So that's become more of a teaching thing. And the grappling now has become more of a competitor thing. So for me, every now and again, I walk into a cage. So
Mm.
in the cage, now a lot of people go, oh, cage fighting, you're in UFC, you UFC in, you do UFC. Well, no, cage fighting is mixed martial arts. So mixed martial arts is basically if I know kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, I go into that cage and I can fight using kickboxing and jiu-jitsu.
Right.
So
Okay.
if you knew, I don't know, wrestling, you could use wrestling on me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's basically a petri dish for you to just jump in and use all the martial arts that you know.
So
And
it's
fight
like
me.
it's a bit of a free for all then. So if you're up
Yeah.
against a component that like wrestles and you do kickboxing, would that just be one? Is that why it's always so kind of messy?
Yeah, because the early days, that's basically how it started. It was like which style was the best style. So I
Hmm.
think it was like the Gracies, they were like, oh, yeah, we're definitely, we're the ones, they just wanted to bring jiu-jitsu onto the world scene, and they did a really good job at it. And to be fair, like early days, it was always, say, kickboxer versus a grappler, or striker grappler. Nowadays, everybody pretty much knows everything. I mean, even the classes now are MMA. So you're learning pretty much all of it into it's become its own martial art,
Wait,
mixed martial arts.
I was just gonna give an attempt. I was like, mixed martial arts by
Boom.
MMA. I am
You
a
got it.
fast learner. Thank you. But the reason, right? So I find you so incredible because you obviously get into these cages and you go on the mats and like you've got like this massive amount of like aggression and power and like all of this sort of, I don't know, overwhelming fighting spirit. But then off the mat, which is how I know you, you're a little daisy. You're just a little, yeah, you're like the most gentle soul on planet Earth. So can you explain to me a little bit about how you can separate those two? It's like two personalities in a way, right?
Yeah, I suppose I am a Gemini, so maybe that's what it is.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't look at it before. When you're younger and used to have the school bullies and all that jazz, fighting was horrible. Fighting's not something you'd like. So when you look at what I do now,
Mm-hmm.
if if say I was gonna have a fight now,
Mm-hmm.
well, I train in fighting, if that makes sense. So for me, I don't look at it as like it's a fight. I look at it as what I do all the time. So I'm only going in there doing what I've done somewhere I'm comfortable with friends I know and we train. I just know that the person that I'm opposite
Mm-hmm.
wants to take my head off. Now,
Just a
I may
minor consideration.
yeah, and I may look like coming
Edge.
in the hard man, whatever. But that's if I come across in any way that way, that's probably just because I'm thinking, right, he wants to kill me. He wants to kill me. He wants to kill me. And I'm looking at him thinking, what is he going to try to do?
Mm-hmm.
How is he going to try to do it? And what am I going to do to counter that? So in my mind, I'm thinking of it almost like a puzzle.
So it's just your
And
thinking face. That's what everyone can see. Just your thinking face.
yeah, there, nailed
I
it.
can't wait to talk to you about mindset, but first of all, I'm going to draw it back into Emma's happy list.
Ba-boom.
Boom. Because actually, I'm really curious to know. So, first of all, do you have a happy list at the moment?
No,
You don't.
I should have made one really, but I thought, no, let's be natural about it and just try to dig something up.
You don't. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to. You don't have to prepare in advance for these. They're like the only mission of this podcast is to make someone smile and maybe inspire them in some way. So, if you don't have one now. If you were to start one today, what would be the number one thing on your happy list?
Okay. Now, I've listened to a few of your other ones, so I'm going to refer to what you've said, and I really do like the whole laying in water, sort of just being.
Oh, everyone refers to the floating in water. It's such a big
That's
hit.
good
It is a good
because
one.
I think that's like being immersed into nature, and
Yeah.
that's the full like feeling of just being free.
Mhm.
There's no work, there's no like stress, friendships, there's nothing. You're just
Yeah.
you and earth. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
And I think that feeling everybody likes. It's very primal, isn't it? It's in your DNA. And in my say happy list, let's
Mhm.
stick to the list.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of overall. So it's kind of experience. Now you could say experience in what? It could be that experience, being laying there, taking on the earth's vibes, to going on a plane, going to somewhere I've never been before, to find out what kind of cultures I'm going to be dealing with. It, I like traveling. I like the experience of all that, and I just love experience, something new. So if you like for fighting, if you go back to fighting, for me it'd be a case of, oh, the feeling, I'm scared. Oh, here we go, and then you get in there, it's over, and then that feeling of like, oh, I'm so happy that I've done this and I've won the pit. So it's just, I'm kind of broad when it comes to what my list is, but I would say as a title, it's experience.
I think
So
I think I've finally understood how you are the happiest person I know, because you've literally just explained like living in the present moment, because everything you just said is like the experience of what you're going through, but you're fully immersing yourself in like the present. So whatever that present may be, like right now, you've got a massive smile on your face because you're talking to your cousin. So you're literally like your living happy list. You are your living happy list, right?
yeah, you've got to, I truly believe you've got to make the most of it. You know, every day doesn't have to be a happy day, but you've got to find a happy day, if that makes any sense, you know?
Yeah.
Is if I sulk today, then when am I going to get out of that sulk?
Oh my God, when have you ever sulked, Shane?
I sulk.
Do you? In
I sulk
private?
too much. No. Yeah.
That's so if you were to be sort of anywhere right now in those, you know, like you were talking about your favorite like nature experiences. Obviously, we're in a bit of an awkward situation at the moment where half of us are in lockdown. Where would you like to go, do you think?
I know exactly where I want to be.
I know where you'd be as well, but I want everyone else to know as well.
But I don't want to tell everybody my favorite place.
You want to keep it secret?
I want, but people could find out. People will
Hmm.
probably know.
You can't leave them hanging like that. There's so many people listening right now, like, where is it?
Yeah, the reason is because where it's kind of a hint, but where I'm thinking I would love to be right now,
Hmm.
it's like a campaign to keep the place blue. That's what they call keep
Right, okay.
blue. But if I was to go, yeah, everyone should go there, experience it. It's beautiful. It's lovely, and then you know things happen, and it's never as nice as it used to be.
Okay, we'll let you keep your secret, and then if people really, really want to find out, all they have to do is like Google the blue campaign, keep it blue,
Keep
right?
something blue,
Keep something blue. So they have to do a little bit of their own
and
investigative work.
it's in California, Nevada.
So they won't get there, like they won't be able to go next week anyway.
Nah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. There are a few places back home, obviously, which I really do love and I miss, and I can't get out and
Mhm.
explore yet.
Yes, yet.
Yeah.
Keyword. That's one of my favorite words, actually. Yet. I love that word.
Exactly. You haven't given
Changes
up, have you?
yeah, it changes the entire like premise of a sentence. Right. So, but right, I did say though that we'd go back to mindset, and I've already had like a little bit of an insight into your mindset already,
Hmm.
just from your number one happy list item. So, talk to me, because your mindset like really sort of resonates with me, and I aspire to like build up to it because you are so focused. And like I said, like if you've not realized already, you're like the happiest human being. So talk to me about your mindset when it comes to like your competing with your MMA. Mixed martial arts. Look at me learning. So talk
Getting
to me
good.
about that. How do you like stay in the zone? How do you like take yourself away from the zone? All of that process.
Okay. For competing, I'll always say competing, whether it's the cage, it could be hugging someone on the mats. Do you know what I mean?
A little
It's,
coach.
yeah, I think for maybe a lot of people, it's the fear of losing in front of a crowd. I think
Ooh,
that
okay.
I think that can be like almost defeating in itself. But
Mhm.
as I've said already, it's to me it's the experience. If I say no, I'm not doing it. I don't feel ready. I'm too nervous.
Yeah.
I'm the anxieties are getting to me, and then I look back at the event and I think, oh, I could have been there. I could have done that. I could have
Mhm.
won this. And then you're in that sulky mode. Then you coulda, shoulda, woulda. When you've just stepped up to the mark, go to do it, and then you do it. So when you go to do it, then obviously you've got a few weeks of planning what you're going to do towards it. So every day it's in here. Every
Mhm.
day you're thinking, ah, somebody wants to kill me. Somebody's training more than me. So yeah, it's a weird old feeling. It's hard to like explain, but the mindset behind it for me is more I need to make the most of it now while I can,
Yeah.
and I want to sort of put myself in these tough positions where I've got to overcome that like adversity of doing stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, for me, it's more. I don't have that mindset where it's like, right, I gotta do this and do that, and I'm kind of just going through the motions. And like I said, I can explain to you the way I feel just before I step on the mat. So I'll always say this to people. One, I don't like fighting. I hate fighting. Believe it or not, I hate fighting. Um, I always refer to it as competing, because
Yeah.
to me, if I say competing, that's more of a problem-solving thing rather than just pure aggression and killing each other.
Yeah.
So it looks different when people look at me and think, oh, he's fighting and blood and rah.
Yeah.
But in my head, it's no, I've just got a 1,000-piece puzzle I gotta build.
Yeah.
But when I'm nervous when I've agreed to something.
Yeah.
So my opponent event, I'm really nervous. I'm like, oh, what have I done? Here we
Yeah.
go. But I'm living in the moment, as you said. You know,
Yeah. You're enjoying that regardless of the feeling. It's like that anticipation.
Exactly. And then you sort of forget about it now and again. Maybe that's me, because my head's in so many places. I'm like thinking of different things and I've forgotten about it. And then it hits me. Uh-oh. I remembered I'm training for a fight and this, that,
Yeah.
the other.
In
And
terms of
then,
training then, sorry, just to interrupt you. So in terms of training, like you've obviously got like quite powerful habits in place. So you were saying earlier that you know, when you go onto the mat, it's not as if you're going into a fight, you're going on to doing things that you always do with your pals, and it's just the stuff that you used to doing. Do you think like the power of habit plays massively into that sort of mindset then? Because at the end of the day, you're just doing what you always do. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I work in security. So there's often times you get some people in security that will say like, oh, I can handle him. I can do this and like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, one, professionally, you shouldn't be getting involved with any violence or any sort of thing. You should be split things up and just do your job.
Yeah.
But like, I think as you're going on like that part, that habit, you know, because I've woke up at 5:30 in the morning, gone training 6 a.m., and I've had a fight with someone,
Mhm.
maybe 10 boys in the class. So I've had a fight that day. So when any confrontation comes towards us in
Yeah.
work, say, to me, that person may want to resort to violence.
Mhm.
And I'm like, ah, I've had 7 rounds this morning of fighting. I don't need another 7 more rounds.
Yeah.
So I don't need to like sort of express myself in that way where
Mhm.
that's their release.
Yeah.
So
So maybe
but
they need to do some more of what you do, getting on the mats.
I think it'll help. I mean, I'm not saying it's for everybody, but
Yeah.
you can take parts of things that you
Yeah.
will enjoy. I can guarantee everybody will enjoy it in some way.
Well, even if it's not like, so let's like make it broader, even if it's not specifically like MMA, even if it's just getting out your like energy on the treadmill in the morning, like that's still sort of like releasing those endorphins, it's releasing that tension, it's releasing all of the things that kind of build up. So because I find that when I work out in the mornings, like I go into my day like a gentle lake. So rather than going in like, you know, like crazy storm, yeah, exactly, I feel way more calm, way more sort of collected. So not only like, so that I think that's the kind of point maybe I was trying to make, is that these habits of like training every day, they don't just benefit like you compete in, but they just benefit life in general.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, would you
yeah.
agree with that?
100%. I mean, if it weren't for martial arts, I'd still be training also. And for me, it's that release of energy, isn't it? And like you said, you know, you've got dopamine, serotonin, all these things are going up and down, and you're almost like helping yourself balance out.
Yeah.
And and I think if you're going back to that primal sort of DNA, well, it was fight or flight, survival. You know, we're now really like, I would say, so socialized. We're almost like
Docile.
we don't have a threat. We don't. I mean, what was our last threat? It was like World War II and stuff.
Yeah.
Now you've got a virus. Look how happy everyone's starting to become. All right, there's a little bit of stay away from me, 2 meters apart. But
Yeah.
when you think of before the virus, people would get depressed over like the smallest of things.
Yeah.
They didn't have the Germans flying over bombing us.
No.
You know, they
Do you know
didn't
what
have a
though?
stress.
Yeah, I'm super guilty of this. So I'm actually reading a book at the moment. I don't have it next to me, but it's called The Chimp Paradox. I don't know if you've heard of it. Have you
Yeah,
heard of it?
my coach Bungie's recommended to read that, and
It's
you've got to
really good.
control yourself like road
Yeah.
raging. You got to
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I've
literally,
heard
it's so
that.
good. So essentially we have like three brains. This is what the concept of the book is. We've got our chimp brain, which is that like primal brain that you're talking about. So our primitive, like chimp, wild, emotional, like just reactive, that sort of thing, which we have all had experience of, I think. Then you've got your human brain, which is like the evolved creature that can think ahead, that can use logic, that can sort of like look at the big picture whereas a chimp can't. And then you've got your computer, which is like all of your learned behaviors. So your learned behaviors either come from like your chimp. If you're constantly reacting to stressful situations with your chimp, then that goes into your computer, so you don't even think about it, which is quite scary. But then equally, your learned behavior can come from like your human brain, for example, like writing, reading, like listening, stuff like that. So the idea is that you keep your human has to control your chimp, but in like that's way more difficult than what it sounds. But the way you do it is like you exercise your chimp. Like there's a couple of ways that he says, but essentially the one that I've really taken to at the moment, and it's like really helping me, it's ridiculous. I feel almost embarrassed saying it now in front of like everyone. But if something annoys me, I will like sit in my van and I'll like on my way home or whatever, I will have a full on rant and say absolutely everything I would never ever usually say. Yeah, I would never ever say it. And then eventually, like the more you talk, like your human kicks in and your human's like, you sound like an idiot. You should probably stop now. And then you're like,
Boom.
yeah, maybe I should stop now. I feel a lot better. But it does work. It's ridiculous. It works so well. But anyway, that's one of the books that I'm reading at the minute about, this sort of primitive emotional response and stuff. And I feel like more people maybe need to delve into that book, but that's for another time. So, I wonder then, are you wondering what I'm going to talk about today?
No, just
What's
go
on
with
my
it.
Just go with it. Okay. Well, I was
Just
hoping
go
you'd be
with
wondering, but
it.
I have decided today to share one that is kind of probably not really on many other people's lists, and that is learning. And I think so. I don't know what episode this is, but my next one is learning, and I think it's because there are so many negative connotations to learning, because when people think of learning, they think of school, they think of maybe like bad teachers, they think of like bad environments and stuff like that. What was your initial response when I said learning?
Experience. Bang.
Yeah, you love it, don't you? I knew you'd love
I, I think I posted yesterday, about making the most of your time and learning, like I said, 3 martial arts, but constantly trying to learn.
it.
And
Yeah.
that's why it's so broad, this experience,
Oh my
and I think learning is great. I think this time lockdown,
God.
learning anything. That could be a physical skill
Yeah.
or it could be a mental thing.
It's such a
I
good
think it's great.
opportunity, isn't it? It's such a great opportunity to like expand your
100%.
knowledge, expand like yourself. But I am absolutely addicted to learning. You probably know this. I'm
Yeah.
like I'm like the nerd of the family, but I'm absolutely like I've always got like a book next to me and that sort of thing. But I did a bit of digging as well into like types of learners. Like I think so there's four main types. You've got your visual learners, your kinesthetic learners, your readers and writers, and your auditory learners, so the people that
Yeah.
listen. I think I know which one you are, but which one do you think you are? If you had to like say you
Um,
had a dominant one.
Well, I've done a lot of this in sports science when I did my degree, which was ages ago. um, but I look at what I do now, and what I do now in terms of like learning a martial art, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that is visual.
Yeah,
It becomes a little bit is it audible like when you listen?
auditory. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes a little bit of auditory because you've got to listen to like sometimes it's the steps you remember.
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3, but you remember 1, 2, 3 to the image that you just seen.
Okay.
Um, but I do I like feel,
Yeah, you're kinesthetic.
kinesthetic.
That's
Yeah,
what I thought you'd be. I
that for me is more in the moment. For example, if I throw a kick, for example, this is going on to the martial arty thing. But
Yeah,
if I was to
love
throw
it.
a kick, I've seen the kick a million times. I haven't seen myself, but then you can also refer to that one as well, learning. But
Yeah.
I love that feeling of the kick, the feel of that, you get that force, equal and opposite force, hey,
Yeah.
boom. But yeah,
Six.
I love
Science.
the feeling, and then yeah, and you can bring in the feeling of anything, can't you? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah,
I love
you're
it.
right. You know
So
me too well.
I know you quite well. Actually, I've got like my first ever memory of you is so weird though. I might share it. I'm gonna share it actually.
Uh-oh.
It's so bizarre, and really, and we would
Ah.
never ever do this now, but we were in your dad's house, and I
Yeah.
remember me and James. So James is my brother. Me and James and you, but I don't know where Danielle, your sister, was. But you had a bumblebee in a petri dish. You caught a bumblebee, and you were
Uh-oh.
dissecting it.
No.
I know. I'm like, we were horrible kids. What were we doing? That's like against my entire like nature now, isn't it? But anyway, that was like my first. That's such a weird first memory, though, isn't it? And yet here we are. Now we're lovely people. Um,
Yes.
so personally, when it comes to learning, I think I am a visual learner. So I definitely lean towards like seeing and visualizing and that sort of thing, but I do have like elements of like kinesthetic and stuff, and this comes in like I think it's a lot more when you're learning like skills and sports, because with my snowboarding obviously
Yeah.
it's kinesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
100%.
can obviously like watch, which is probably
Yeah.
why I enjoy going out with like the instructors and stuff as well. But like I feel like one of the reasons that I love snowboarding so much is because there's always like another level of like learning. There's always like, you know, mastery isn't like an easy thing to come by, is it? There's always
No.
like, and you keeping yourself like open to the opportunity to get better and better and better. Like I'm very like confident on my snowboard, and I'm good, and I can get down the mountain, and it's, you know, it's all good. But there is so much more potential, and like so many more tricks and so many more combinations and all of this thing, which is probably why I'm like a little bit addicted to it,
Yeah.
if you get me. So I
Yeah.
imagine it's kind of the same thing for you, like with all of your, so building up on your skills from like martial arts, like you say, you can just, you, although you're a black belt in like many of them, there's still like always that room, isn't there, to like grow and just
Yeah.
learn more, because it'll probably be a very different sport in like 20 years time to than what it is now, as is what usually happens with sports, right?
Yeah. 100%. It transfers into so many, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
transfers no matter what you do or I do. Like I love paddleboarding in a
Yeah.
place that they try to keep blue.
Oh,
But
yeah, that blue place
that
that
blue
everyone has
place.
to research.
And ever since, you know, I've bought myself a blow up paddleboard and I go down Langland, but I'll be there like 7 a.m. So it's really early and there's no
Yeah.
one out, and the water's calm because you check the swell meter, it's all flat,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And yeah, with everything, I see these paddleboarders and they're amazing, and I'm like, I'm such a noob. But
Such a noob.
when you go to martial arts, a black belt, they say,
Mm-hmm.
is starting again, because you never complete it. You're always in search of that 1% that
Yeah.
you never attain. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's, with everything, I think that is, you know.
Yeah, well, I think the same, because although I've got like my sports things that I love learning, like I'm also really into like the self-development and the personal growth and stuff, which is why I read books like The Chimp Paradox, like looking at your own psychology. And then like I love reading and writing, and at the minute I'm learning about, like, I never thought I'd say this because I'm so like historically I've not been very competent with like numbers, but at the moment I'm like learning all about finance and like trading and stuff like that. So literally I am addicted to learning, and I love it.
Ah,
Yeah, I
that's
absolutely love
awesome.
it. And
It's funny.
yeah, I
We're on the
feel
same
like
wavelength. We're
we
on the
always
same wavelength.
we always have been. We
I've
all
been looking into cryptocurrency.
have you.
How crazy is that?
We'll share some notes later. But my point of all of this, though, I think, to people who are listening, and the value I feel like people need to take from this, is like always invest in yourself. Like always, that's the biggest like and best investment you can make in your life, is investing in your like your own skills, your own like learning. So I can't think of, well, there's plenty of things worse, but just bear with me here, but of anything worse than like coming home and like watching TV and then getting up and repeating the same day over and over and over, and not like developing myself, not having like new skills to show for my days or weeks or months or years. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, it all adds up.
Yeah, it does. And then, you know, within like, you look back on the decade and you'll be like, holy shit, actually this decade I have like up leveled massively. It's not felt like that. It's felt like minuscule little steps and minuscule little skills and stuff here and there. But over the decade, like, it accumulates, compound interest for anyone who's interested. And all of a sudden you've got this massive change in who you are and what you can offer back to the world.
Yep. I mean, that's the best way to look at it. I mean, yeah, I always refer martial art, but it's, I would say, discipline. If you discipline yourself to something, even if it's a few minutes every day, that goes a long way over time. And before you know it, time's gone.
Time,
gone.
yeah, time, the most precious commodity on earth, time. That ties in really well with another book called Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've read it. But yeah, that kind of talks along the same thing of just like building these little minuscule habits, and like your miracle morning can like change your entire day. Those days change your entire weeks. Those weeks change into like months and years and decades. So yeah. So that was a lovely little discussion. Where can everyone find you? Because if they want to like learn more about you and maybe get some like training tips or even like mindset tips on how you stay so happy all of the damn time, even though you pretend you don't, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I think on Instagram, Shane T. Price.
That is right, I believe.
Boom. I
Boom.
think so. Thomas. Boosh.
Boosh. So Shane T. Price on Instagram, yeah. So anyone can just drop you a note. They can, even if they want to find out the answer to your question, I'm sure you'll answer them directly.
Yeah, I actually prefer that way.
Yeah.
Prefer that way. Yeah,
Okay.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
So where's your favorite place? Where's your favorite place?
My favorite place?
Yeah, your favorite.
Planet Earth.
That's cheating.
Hey.
That's cheating. That's cheating.
Favorite planet?
Yeah, but you got snowy mountains. You've got Wales. You always say about Wales.
I do, yeah.
And it is really beautiful. But
yeah,
if you got a place,
I literally can't choose because there are so many places that I've not been. It wouldn't be a very honest, like,
right.
you know. Do you know what I mean?
You just nailed it there because when we went traveling for a fair bit, not loads, not long, but it was trying to like get as much in as possible.
Yeah.
Sort of always say like, oh, that place, I love that place, or I love this place. Because you can never actually say that is your favorite place until you go somewhere else, and then all of a sudden that might become your favorite place.
Exactly. It's all relative.
It is. It's really hard. And I don't think you'll ever find the place as such. But at this very minute, there's one place that I could always be and be there now. There must be someone like that with you, surely? I've turned this on to you now, haven't I?
I know, and it's such a difficult question.
I know, it's like saying, what's your favorite movie? That's quite hard, I find.
Yeah.
Favorite song, it's quite difficult. But place, there must be.
Depends on my activities, on what activities I'm doing. So is it my favorite place to snowboard? Is it my favorite place to hike? Is it my favorite place to go paddleboarding? Is it my favorite place to chill? Is it my favorite place to read? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got various favorite places for all of those things.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
I when I go away, it's usually competing. So if I go away, I'm competing. I've experienced somewhere else. I'm like, oh, this is a cool place. But then sometimes I just go away to enjoy the place, and I can't always train where I go. So in my like overall, how do I decide? As long as it's got things that I can obviously eat and drink that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's also got that almost secluded nature feeling where you're not completely on your own. It's got to have a little bit of a build-up area, but somewhere where you get that perfect blend of both. And that's why I like where Keeping It Blue is.
Yeah. I literally can't decide. There are so many places. I'm terrible. Like, I can't. I just love everywhere. I love life. I love everything. I'm sorry. Boom. What was that? I was going to say something, but it's gone from my head. Oh, actually, so one of my favorite places, but I'm going to save this for a podcast which is coming soon. So one of my favorite places is obviously New Zealand, and there's loads of places in New Zealand that are also my favorite places. Why am I like this? I'm so on the fence. Anyway. But I'm going to save that because I'm going to probably talk about that with someone that's coming on the podcast in the next few episodes. You'll just have to listen to that episode if you want to find out about New Zealand in detail.
Cool. I've only scratched it.
I know. You went to the North Island, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smelly place, isn't it? Rotorua. But I learned Kia ora.
You did Kiora. Yeah, you did learn Kiora. So I'm going to wrap up there. I'm just going to, so everyone, if they want to drop you a note, Shane T. Price. If they want to share their own happy list, the hashtag is hashtag share happy list. And if they also want to support the podcast, they can, or you can, I'm talking to you listeners, you guys, you can subscribe either on Spotify or on YouTube, or even if you just want to drop me a note and say, hey, I love your podcast. I absolutely love that. So please do that. And apart from that, Shane, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
hope we will do something after lockdown.
Yes.
Because yeah, we'll go.
Paddleboard.
Yeah, let's go paddleboarding. That's a great idea. Let's do that.
Would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But until then, stay safe.
Yes.
Keep kicking
Stay
butt.
strong.
Yeah, stay strong.
Stay strong.
Stay strong, stay healthy, and I'll speak to you later.
Yes. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.